Well, I hope they'll be able to hear you. We're on.
Great.
We're on, dear. Happy anniversary, darling.
Happy anniversary, dear.
The other day, when was it? Thursday, maybe? Oh, you're settling into this uncomfortable
I'm
chair.
walking like Theresa May, the former Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Constance hurt her back.
My back. I've been lifting straw bales. Tote that barge, lift that bale. And
Pulling up a hollyhock.
I pulled up a hollyhock and it pulled me up instead. It was a nice. It was just anyway. Never mind. It was necessary. I saved its babies.
Well, thoughtful.
I have settled in. I've stopped moaning now.
That's why I'm happy you're joining us this morning, so you can stop moaning for 15 minutes at least.
Yes, I finished fixing the bed, sleeping, and then by the time that 15 minutes is up, the laundry will be ready to hang out.
Anyway, today probably won't be a big esoteric jackpot for you. It is election day, Boxing Day.
When they can't win by an election, they want to go fight each other.
That kind of boxing, yeah.
Yes.
But certainly I feel rebellious. Get it? Boxer rebellion?
Oh, God.
Well, it's better than the pun I had
Okay, I don't
prepared for the dog.
You prepared a pun? That's the lowest form of humor to start with. I don't know how you can prepare it.
Speaking of the lowest form of humor,
Or lowest form of anything.
when we went to Trader Joe's on Thursday,
Last Thursday.
I usually sit in the car and desperately try to figure out what I'm going to do for that morning's Facebook show. But when Constance got out, I asked her if Trader Joe's had cards, greeting cards, anniversary cards.
When I got out of the car, not Trader Joe's.
Yeah, when you got out of the car. And she said, yes, right? Why? And I said, I wanted her to get an anniversary card for me to give to her.
This is Lon's idea of being helpful.
It's
to
Lon's.
remind me that it's Lon's anniversary.
So Constance got me a card.
I got him a card. I got him a card from me.
Yes.
I thought that was a really weird request. Besides, he only had one anniversary card, and it was kind of the kind that makes you stick your finger down your throat. So that was not going to be bought even for 99 cents.
We're not really. I'm sentimental, but Constance isn't very sentimental. So that means as a couple, that torpedoes the whole sentimental couple thing. If only one person is sentimental. So this morning, she surprised me
With the card.
with a card. Okay, and on the envelope, she says, "This card is all about you, just like our relationship." And
It's funny and it's not.
and it says, "Your weirdness is beautiful, and so is yours, dear."
Thank you, dear.
There's, and then on the inside, she had to write it herself because this isn't a 50th anniversary card.
Or a 55th anniversary.
Never change. Well, maybe a little. And there's her beautiful signature. Right. Thank you, dear.
I know, it's the thought that counts.
I thought I would take this opportunity and the little time we have today. So I'm giving you fair warning so you can shut this off and get on with your day if you want. I want to tell you how we got married. It's
We'll make it quick then, because this can go on forever.
right,
We're not going to tell you why, just how.
right.
Because
On February 27th,
you just dodged a bullet. I hear the washer calling.
I felt chemically inspired to call her at her home, her parents' home in Nebraska, and I proposed marriage over the telephone at a beer bar in Costa Mesa. I was in the beer bar. She was not in a beer bar.
I had a turquoise princess phone in my bedroom.
She answered her princess phone. What color was it?
Turquoise.
Turquoise, okay. And the payphone at the Buccaneer was black.
With icky fingerprints on it.
Yes. It was a biohazard. But anyway, I wasn't quite sure. It was just psychically inspired, obviously. So I can't give you a good reason other than just I loved her. And I don't know why I really asked I was what, 17 years old or 18?
No, you must have been 17 if your mother had a sign.
Yeah, my mother had to sign. Well, anyway, that's getting ahead of it. And she said yes. And then she came out to California. And what month was that?
I don't know, about 6-7 months later. Oh, June.
In June. Yeah. And she came out in June.
With my dowry. I had worked at BD, which is famous, medical device company, and I was extremely, for 6 months, and saved enough money to buy a lovely set of suitcase and airline tickets and clothing and money to buy dishes and stuff when I got here.
It was like Petula Clark got off the plane in a blue sort of trench coat, pale blue trench coat.
Cream colored Samsonite luggage, 3 pieces. Yes, it was. I impressed myself with the fact that I could actually do it. So.
Yes.
But I was hypnotized over the phone, so I didn't have a choice.
Her parents actually accused me of hypnotizing her over the telephone, and told the Catholic.
It was so illogical that I would do this, and it was.
Yes, they were absolutely correct, as parents are. Be that as it may, when she came out in June, we almost immediately got a marriage license, a state California marriage license.
Probably the next day, or I probably wouldn't have stayed there.
Yes, I said we better get the license immediately, or
time will pass.
she's going to smarten up and get out of here. And but I was so young in California at that time that I needed my mother to actually co-sign, give me permission to marry her, because she was just a few months older than I. Yeah. 6 months older.
But legally.
And yeah, the woman could be.
No, the woman had to be the same age as the man, so I was 6 months older than him.
Yeah, okay. So, I was still going to college. I was still pretending to go to college. Once Constance got here, I started missing classes regularly.
Which meant he probably had less chance to buy drugs.
Yes. And the drugs were soft drugs, okay? But, and LSD.
You were were not buying LSD at the time. We were just buying marijuana, that's all.
That's all we were doing then.
We
But the
can't
person
say
that
marijuana.
before she came out and made me an honest man, I bought LSD from a man at school. And the man at school was a stage hypnotist and son of a very famous stage hypnotist. And he was my LSD connection.
My parents were right.
Your parents were
The
right.
guy who sold you the drugs that you were on when you
Yes,
hypnotist, and you did hypnotize me over the
That-
phone. Spooky.
that's right.
Mm.
You made that connection. We've been in a fog all these years and didn't make that connection ourselves. But anyway, he was a famous stage hypnotist, and he came to school one day during one of the classes that I was attending, political science. And he said, "Hey, I can marry people. My dad just started this foundation, and it's a nonprofit thing, and it's called the Foundation of the Open Mind, and it gives me clerical credentials. I can marry people." And I said, "Well, can you marry Constance and I? Constance and me?" And he said, "Sure." I said, "Can you do it tonight?" And he said, "Do you have a license?" And I said, "Well, you sure do." And
Closed at night, though.
so I came home and told Constance, "Do you want to get married this afternoon?" It was in the afternoon. Mark was off work and
Right,
everything.
yeah.
And when I said, "Do you want to get married this afternoon?" my eyes did that circle thing like that. And then Constance was hypnotized and said, "Yes."
No.
No. Yes. So I called my brother. My brother Mark and his wife Margaret lived down the street in Costa Mesa. We could have their living room. We needed some witnesses. They called some friends of theirs
Literally Quakers.
who they had been beaten up with.
At a protest in Los Angeles, because these people actually were friends. They were Quakers.
They were Quakers, okay. And they were a Quaker couple. He was a professor, he taught at the University of California, Irvine, the brand new.
Which was just trailers then.
Yeah, it was just trailers
A
at the
brand new
time.
road leading to it.
And she was a professional midwife.
Among other things.
Yeah,
A genius and
yeah,
an awesome. They were both awesome people.
yeah.
But
They were from the East Coast. He was. What was the school?
I don't remember. She Radcliffe.
Oh,
Radcliffe?
the girls'
I was
school.
gonna say not Radcliffe. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I've lost it.
Laird Scranton
Whatever. She
graduated there. Oh, I can't.
they were extremely well educated. They were Swedish American
And Quakers,
and Quakers. They were brilliant, loving,
and they had
patient,
and they had how many kids?
4 children under the age of 10, right?
Yeah, and they came to the wedding too, didn't they?
Just Daniel, I think.
Okay,
I don't remember if they did or not. I think just Daniel. I don't remember.
but anyway, they were very, very active in the anti-war movement. That's where my brother met them. That's why they all got beat up together at the police riot of June 23rd at the Century Plaza Hotel in Los Angeles, where Constance is pointing to the. What does this have to do with our wedding? Okay.
Exactly.
But anyway, they were there. Now, it's kind of important because this is where we met them.
I don't know if any of their children there, but that baby from the Newport Beach.
They were
Wherever he was there, the one we babysit for.
little John.
Yeah, but we shouldn't.
Anyway,
It was a Newport
not
Beach-
Kennedy, okay?
No, no. It was a Newport Beach elected city official, rather high,
city manager. I
city
believe.
manager or something. Oh God, anyway.
They were babysitting him, and he was at our wedding too. Plus, my singing partner at the time, just sort of almost informal at that time, partner Charles D. Harris, Charlie D., and Joe Wilson.
We lived in a trailer across an alleyway from our extremely dumpy, moldy motel we were living in, kind of
Right.
place.
And both of them were musicians too. And they came as witnesses too. And Joe had just written a new song. And they played that song at our wedding. And it's called Anne. And I posted it just this morning on my Facebook page.
And so we had music, and we had to quickly write some kind of a ceremony because we had to have some kind of a ceremony.
And so we had a couple little sort of mystically kind of things, including Gibran's The Prophet. And we...
And the Tao Te Ching.
And the Tao Te Ching. And we quickly took little pieces of that and another little Penguin Press thing.
Something about gems of Eastern wisdom or something, but that's
Yeah,
not the title, but it was
right.
something like that.
And just picked a few little snatches here and there, and I got a couple things here printed out, which I think were among them. But we made no vows.
No promises.
We
didn't know what we were doing, but we weren't that stupid.
We promised each other nothing.
And that's...
But a couple things that we did, the Gibran thing
About the trees?
was,
It's about the trees.
yeah, love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your soul. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another your bread to eat, but not from the same loaf. I like sourdough more than you do.
Which just means we cannot share food at a restaurant because Lon will take it all.
I don't like people picking things off my plate. Well, anyway.
It is the lowest form of food. It's Thomas food. That's okay.
Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone, even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Now, almost everybody uses that. But at the time, it wasn't a big thing for everybody to use that one.
The tree part, that was my favorite.
Let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your soul. And finally, give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping. For only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. That was one of them. Then I think from our cheap little edition of the Tao Te Ching, simplicity, patience, compassion. The simplest pattern is the clearest. Be content with an ordinary life. You can show all people the way back to their true natures.
I don't remember what. I remember the other one.
So, yeah. Anyway.
That sounds so wonderful. We have politics and religion in common, which are the things you're not supposed to talk with anyone about. But even that, we're not exactly the same. But I just want to bribe in politics. I want to bribe every situation. I want to bribe some other country, someone with food. It always works.
It always worked in Dungeons and Dragons.
That's what my character was, a cleric that had a goat cart and carried food, and I just got through. Everybody else was fighting it out with people. All I did was make sure I was stocked up with all my money with food and just paid everybody off with food. It always works. We could just, diplomacy could be nothing but bribing everyone with food. I'm sorry, it would work. And Lon's more, blowing people up, but
I'm impatient.
I'm just as frustrated as he is. But food works better. So.
Blow 'em up. With love, with compassion. Okay, do you want to add anything else? I'm not going to presume to say anything profound today.
Well, that's wrong.
Okay.
I don't know. We're doing nothing particular to celebrate. We're just going to try to breathe. Breathe into our physical pain.
Yes.
Ask ourselves why we have it.
Please send Constance your healing, pain relieving good
It will
vibes.
eventually go away, and I will stop trying to physically abuse myself today.
Well, anyway, I love you, dear.
Oh, that's sweet. I love you too. You made me do that, didn't you?
Who was it in the movie about
I know
mothers?
you think you do.
I love you. I know you think you do. But do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law. Love under will.
See you tomorrow.